Hello again. Today I'll explain photosynthesis. This is a summarized form of photosynthesis, which pretty much include everything that you need to know for photosynthesis as per Cambridge A levels. I'm not sure about others, but it's probably the same for most of the examination boards. So let's begin. The first part is this one. Over here we have two things. There is cyclic photophosphorylation and there is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay. The logic is we have this water which splits. Okay, the plants have water which splits, giving oxygen and hydrogen. From this hydrogen we get the electrons out. From those electrons we get to produce ATPs. Okay, this is one ATP. From those electrons and this light energy, this one is the light energy. From those electrons and this light energy we get to produce ATPs. These ATPs are the ones that are brought about in a Kelvin cycle, and we get to produce this one, you see, and we get to produce glucose. So the entire purpose of this process is to produce glucose. But how will it be produced? We get the energy from the sun. This is the photosystem, means the light energy, to push the electrons up. Now let us see the details. Okay. Okay, there is this splitting of water. So the water breaks down to 2H and oxygen. 2H releases its electron. There are two cycles now. There is this one. As you can see, this is a continuous small cycle. This is called cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, this one is called cyclic photophosphorylation. Cyclic, as you can see it over there, it's cyclic. And the other one, this purple one, will be non-cyclic. Okay, so what happens here is this electron is somewhere here in this photosystem 1. So one thing you should have in mind, that in cyclic we have only photosystem 1. Means we have an electron at the energy level a bit higher, like somewhere here, you see, this is the energy level. So photosystem 1, it has P700. I mean, the electron here is in higher energy state already. It's not so low as this is. So we transfer energy. This is light energy. This yellow color represents sunlight, probably. So the sunlight hits the light energy, hits the electron, and the electron moves to a greater energy level. So here, see, but then this does not move back to another energy level. It comes back like this, back to P700. It does not move horizontally. It moves back to P700, where again the light energy pushes it up. So what happens? Why is it so necessary, this moving up and coming down? This is called chain of electron carriers. Okay, this electron carrier moves in a circular fashion, but the purpose of this is the production of ATP. When it comes down, it loses energy. Where does the energy go? The energy goes in converting ADP to ATP. Like, it pushes these two atoms, these two atoms here, see, these are pushed together to form ATP with that energy lost by this electron. Okay. Now the other part, the non-cyclic, this one is the non-cyclic. Okay, this one is the non-cyclic, as we can see over here. It's in a, we can regard this in a in a Z shape, okay, as it can be seen here. It's Z shape. So this non-cyclic, it comes, the electron is created over here, it is released from this hydrogen, it comes to P680. This P680 is simply a photosystem. It represents that this is a photosystem 2. Okay, so there is an electron somewhere here. Photosystem 2 is in. Now this non-cyclic have both the photosystems, and the electron is over here where it is pushed up. You can just see here how much up is it pushed. It is very high. So this light energy pushed the electron very high, and then the electron comes back down. But then we know, as it loses energy, where does the energy go? The energy goes in production of ATP. So it goes up, it comes down, it produces ATP, and then again it goes up, it comes down. When it comes down over here, it reduces NADP, which is also necessary. So there are two things it does. There is this one, it forms ATP, and then it reduces NADP. Okay, so we have this non-cyclic where ADP is formed and NADP is reduced, and we have this cyclic in which just ATP is formed. Okay, then these ATP and reduced NADP goes to the Kelvin cycle. This simply, Kelvin, it was the name of the scientist who came up with this cycle. So what he said was, it was about carbon dioxide fixation. There is this one carbon coming in, reacting with the ribulose biphosphate, which can be abbreviated as RUBP. It reacts with it, and it forms 6C. This simply is hexose sugars, but then it's not named such. Then this one splits into 2. It forms 3C. This splitting into 2, it is called glycerate 3-phosphate, or it can also be called this GP, glycerate 3-phosphate. Then this GP forms triose phosphate. Now we should see that there is phosphate here, but then the ATP adds another phosphate, because ATP becomes ADP, so it adds another phosphate, and then reduced NADP forms NADP. This adds hydrogen. So this, both the addition of hydrogen and the ATP to ADP forms triose phosphate. So we get this triose phosphate. Now remember, if you remember, in the Kelvin, in respiration, it's the opposite of this. From triose phosphate, we try to get some other thing up to, we try to get this higher, I mean, we dehydrogenize, but here we hydrogenize. This hydrogenation takes place. The hydrogen from reduced NADP is added to triose phosphate. We don't need to produce energy here. We simply need to produce glucose. So after this, after reduced NADP changes to NADP, and sorry, I forgot to mention that this NADP is simply the carrier, electron carriers, hydrogen carriers. This is the same as NAD or FAD, but this one is used in plants. Okay, so we get triose phosphate, from which we can get glucose, amino acid, and lipid. Now this is the part that we are required to just understand that actually this is very simple. There is carbon dioxide entering, and then it goes all the way to give us glucose. Okay, and then this glucose, some forms glucose. Okay, this triphosphate, some forms glucose, some form amino acids, some form lipids, some goes back and forms ribulose biphosphate, which again combines with carbon dioxide and continues the cycle. So this cycle is sort of continuous thing which remains. They go on to form ribulose biphosphate, and again it comes back to the cycle. So there is nothing like this cycle ever ends, and we know that so the raw material over here is only carbon dioxide. There is this one carbon entering, you see. So that's why we are told that in photosynthesis the plants taking carbon dioxide, and water is also used. So water is used over here, as we saw in the first cyclic and in the photophosphorylation, cyclic and non-cyclic, water is used. The hydrogen are used to produce NADP, reduced NADP and ATP, and this ATP and reduced NADP are used over here to make this cycle continuous and to produce glucose and amino acid lipids. So this is simple, that's all, just these two cycles. It's very simple, it's very clear and straightforward. We just have to sort of memorize this maybe, and there are some graphs here which may be necessary, like this rate of photosynthesis over wavelength. It just shows that there are some wavelength where the photosynthesis is very high, while this middle wavelength the photosynthesis is a bit moderate, and then there is this optimum wavelength for photosynthesis. The same representation is this just have these colors. Now, but this one shows absorption. This one shows absorption, and then this one shows a different chlorophyll used. I mean, what are these called? There is a specific name for this. Yeah. Pigments. This one is the primary pigments, these are the accessory pigments. Okay, so how are they absorbed? That's all about this graphs. And over here I mark the end of photosynthesis. You can like the video if you understood, and if you have any question you may ask in the comment section. Thank you.